podcast, and then I was in the chat, and I was talking about moral relativism, and you're of the opinion that moral relativism exists and is real, and I am of the opinion that I'm more of a moral objectivist. I think that there is an objective morality. So I wanted to chat with you about that. But before we get into that, I want you to say hello.
Let
Say hello. Say
let
hello.
me let me tell you this. I don't talk religion. Like
We're not
that's
gonna.
a
We're
taboo.
not.
That's a taboo. So like that's one
Yeah,
subject I will not talk about with anybody, and
that's fine. We don't have to talk about religion.
that's just out of respect.
Yeah. There's my view on this is completely secular. I mean, I am a Christian, but like my view on this is completely secular. So we're not going to
Okay.
go into religion at all.
Okay. Cool beats.
But before you do that, say what's up to the chat. Tell them who you are. All that kind of good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm Dark Rilla. I got about 50 titles. Depends on who you ask. I'm the owner of IWL, Infamous World League on YouTube, and I also do story based in the both. They get games on Twitch, and you should check me out because I'm totally just different. For real,
There you
I
go.
really
There you
am.
go. There you go. Cool, man. Well, okay. So before we get into the main subject, I wanted to ask you about something that I saw. So we were talking about Twitter a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, and I know how you feel about it, but I want to share. I want to share screen, and I want to get your opinion on this because I'm not sure if you saw this or not.
Uh huh.
Let me share screen here. Okay, so did you see this tweet? Can you see the screen?
Uh huh.
Did you see this?
There's a
You know about
KOF in
KOF
live right
15?
now. Yeah, I know about the game on Game Banana that puts
Okay.
Nazi undercover on whip, and the mods there don't appear to see a problem with it. No, there's. I mean, if you're gonna complain about that, go complain about Zombie Army 4 too. Then same
What's
energy.
that? What's that?
It's a
I
zombie
don't know.
game, but it has to do with Nazis.
Okay. So you know it's funny that you said that because a lot of people, there was a couple of people in the chat stream or in the thread that were saying pretty much the same thing. Was that like there's a bunch of other games that deal with this kind of stuff, and it's like somebody even said it's a Metal Slug reference, which I thought was really funny because like you know how Metal Slug has like those little soldiers that have like fake Nazi garb and they're just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like you know what I mean, like paying homage to it or whatever.
Yeah.
But somebody said the same thing. They were like, dude, like, I mean, there's been stuff like this in video games forever. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
But there people are losing their minds on this right now. Like, it's pretty insane. And I actually think it might have gotten taken down because I was just looking for it and I can't find it anymore.
Hmm.
Um, but I saw the costume. I think I did a video on it and I saw the costume and I put it in the video. The costume looks sick as hell. I'm not even gonna lie. Look,
Can you
I'm
show it
trying
to
to
me if you still have it?
trying to find it. I'm trying to find it. Let me see if I can find a an image. Uh let's see. Because I found it yesterday in my video and I showed okay, here we go. All right. So that's what the costume looks like. It's got a very like X-Men type of vibe. But it's basically she's got the
That's not
swastika on her
even
belt.
yeah. That's not even that, bro. It's the outfit. It's
Dude,
plenty of
right,
outfits in games like that, bro.
right.
Next.
Yeah. Well, so people are mad because it has the swastika in it. They're like, well, what if they had done something that didn't have the swastika, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me, man? Like,
No,
seriously, we're
that's
gonna get upset about this right now? Like,
no. That's what
I was
I'm
like,
glad. I'm glad I didn't see that.
until the worst part is that the person who did the thread like stalked the people involved, like found the creator of it and like posted their picture everywhere and like found the mods on Game Banana and was like trying to like dox them, like crazy stuff, bro.
Really?
Hmm. Because of a costume.
No, it's plenty. It's worse. I've seen worse stuff regarding that in
Yeah,
games.
exactly. And well, my thing is too is like until the costume comes out and like starts to like gas people in chambers, then you don't really have a, you know what I mean? It's a costume in a game, bro. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's stupid ridiculous. All right, so I wanted to start with that because I thought that was pretty funny, and I
Yeah,
figured
yeah.
say hello.
It is. It is actually. It's pretty hilarious.
I mean, I think the costume looks sick. If I played the game on PC, I'm not gonna lie, I would rock that. The worst part about it though is that if you play the game and you download this costume, nobody's even gonna see it except for you. Like that's not like the game doesn't it doesn't
Register
broadcast the costume unless the person has also downloaded the mod. So like,
makes sense.
you know what I mean? So it's like
Hmm.
it's really stupid. It's really stupid. People are complaining about absolutely
That
nothing.
actually makes it worse, honestly. Knowing
What?
that they fucking
But oh
complain
yeah.
about that
Yeah, yeah.
because can't nobody see it but the person who has it.
Right, right, exactly. So it's really stupid, but I'm pretty sure if you go on Game Banana now, I'm pretty sure it got taken down because
It wouldn't
find
surprise
it
me.
anymore. Yeah, yeah, it's been trashed for a rule violation. Check it out, right? That's that's awful. So I got to do it. I guess I'm gonna have to do an update video on this. Probably I'll do that after. But yeah, the costume's been taken down. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot for the video. That's I'm actually kind of annoyed. So this person did like a whole campaign against it and got it actually taken down. Oh man.
Okay,
Well,
so are we gonna show that same energy towards Zombie Army 4 then? That's all I'm
no,
saying.
no, they're not. They're not because the these are people that they play probably like one game or two games or something stupid like that, and they don't really know actually what's going on. They don't know what's going on outside in the world. Who's Ron and Lovell? Ronan.
Rowan, that's
Ronan.
that's Rowan. Old man.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
A man, a few
Ronan.
words, honestly.
Ronan, we'll get you in a little bit because I want to have this conversation with Riddler first, and then I'll bring you in after, and you can give your opinion too. But yeah, no, we'll get you in for sure. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. All right, all right, all right. So we got the Nazi thing out of the way because I thought that was ridiculous. I knew you were gonna have like the same kind of a take as me on that, how stupid that was. So I wanted to show you that.
Mm-hmm.
That was for sure if you saw it. All right. So we want to talk about moral subjectivism, moral relativism, some people call it, and like whether or not that is a thing. So
That's the
like I said,
funny thing about it. Everybody got a different word for it.
right, right.
Like,
So
why can't we just keep it to morality and
right,
just be
right.
done with it?
Well, so there's a couple of reasons for that. But before we get into like the meat of the conversation, what I want to know is how do you define moral subjectivism? Like what is your definition? Because I think that we need to establish a clear definition of what we're talking about and then we can move forward.
It's really down to what you really believe in.
Okay.
Because no matter, and that's why I said I really can't have a religion talk with you because I
Mhm.
feel like personally, and like I told LG yesterday, religion is taboo to me because no matter what you say, you're tapping into people's livelihoods, and I just don't. It's just something I don't do. That's why, like, I would rather talk politics before religion any day of the week, and I don't even care for politics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's really down to what you believe in because one, can your morale change? Yes, but at the same time, there's just some things that you're just gonna stand by and stand on. There's a lot of
Right,
things that I have a moral code about that the next person will never believe in and will
right,
probably never agree with.
right.
And
So
that's
go ahead. No, go
and
ahead.
that's why I'm saying like it's gonna always be subjective to me, at least.
Okay. Okay, so you're defining morals. So morals like a sense of you're saying that it's like based on what somebody believes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I define morals as like basically what somebody's guiding principles of right and wrong are, right?
Which is
So
pretty much the same thing.
right. So
You
could we so if we so okay, so we agree on a collective definition of morals. Okay. So the subjectivism part. So
mm-hmm.
in terms of moral subjectivism, like let's define the phrase itself. So, like, what do you mean by that? When you say moral subjectivism, what do you mean when you
You
say
would
that?
have to give up a situation in regards to that question. Like that's
So, like,
not a one way street answer that I can give for that. Like,
so, if you have a situation where, so you're saying that like you want like a example of like a use of it, or what do you mean?
well, yeah, that'll work. Actually, that would work. That would work. That would
Okay,
work.
so I can give you my definition of it. That might help.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay. So my definition of moral subjectivism is basically it says it the philosophy of moral subjectivism claims that morals are descriptions of preferences, right? So
Yeah.
like that means that like if I have if I think that like for example, I don't know, owning a slave is right and you think that it's wrong, then all we're doing is stating a preference and that they're not it's not a claim of like whether or not something is morally correct or not. That's how I define moral subjectivism.
I mean, you right. At the same time, though, who is it to say what's right and wrong, too?
So yeah, I mean
And
that's
see,
a
that's
that's a
why I can't. And see, me even asking that is gonna lead to religion talk. And
no, no,
see
no, no,
that
no,
no matter
no,
what I do, no matter what I say, it's gonna lead to this religion believes this. This religion. You see what I mean?
no,
It's
no, no.
not. It's like it's not.
No, we can just talk about it on a personal level. We don't have to
No, no,
agree
no.
on like.
I'm saying in general. Even if this wasn't me and you, I'm saying
Mhm.
you're gonna find those people who gonna want to involve God, want to involve religion,
For sure, yeah.
and all that to
Well, because
have
a
as
lot
a
of people
defense to
get
their case.
yeah, a
Like,
lot of people get that from their religion, right? But
mm-hmm.
regardless of whether or not, like, I think if you remove religion from the conversation, the morality is just a guiding principle for right and wrong, and the subjectivism part says that like that all we're doing when when we define our morals is deciding what we prefer. So in
Yeah,
some senses, it becomes like a preference or an opinion rather than an objective stance or a moral claim.
yeah.
Okay, so we can agree on that definition, or do
To
we
a
disagree?
point, yeah.
Okay,
That's why I said I need a situation.
okay,
Like, give
okay,
me a situation in which you think that I would probably think differently than you.
okay. I mean,
Mind you, that's I know
we
that's
talked about
saying a lot. I know that's
preferences.
saying a lot. So I mean,
We just talked about. I don't. I think we see the thing is I think we agree more than we disagree on a lot of things. So, so it's hard to come up with a situation off the top. But if we're saying that we agree on the definition of because you said I was right when when I described subjectivism as being a claim of like a preference.
yeah,
So
it
okay,
is.
so
Preference has to be involved. I mean, it's how
right.
you think.
Right. So instead of so the def so we're using moral subjectivism as saying like in the world of the framework of moral subjectivism, moral claims are really just descriptions of preferences. They're not descriptions of true or false. We're agreeing there?
Nah, nah.
Okay.
Because
Well, okay.
you can believe what you want to believe, but the shit if the shit just flat on not true, it's just flat on not true.
Right, right. Well,
The-
that's right. So we do agree because so that's what I mean by when I say morals aren't subjective, they're objective. Because objectivism would say that the stance of objectivism is a few layers to it, but you already kind of got a little bit deeper with what you just said, which is basically it subscribes it ascribes a value of true or false to a moral claim. That's what a moral objectivism is.
One question: are we basing this off of actual common sense, though?
Well, what do you mean by that?
By that I mean, you got some people who come up with crazy logics that make absolutely zero sense that we know that's false, and yeah, they just gonna die on that mountain. That's what I mean.
No, okay, yes, yes, but like, no, I agree with that. So like in that realm, there has to be an objective. Otherwise, you fall into the chaos of what you just described when it comes to avoiding the common sense.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's true.
Okay. Okay. So we're agreeing on the definitions of both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you're taking the stance that moral subjectivism exists, and I'm taking the stance that it does not exist. So tell me why you don't think that why you think that moral subjectivism is true, is real.
That's easy because every person is different. There's a
Okay,
lot of things that I agree with that a lot of people will never agree with.
right. Okay, but that goes back to the definition of it being a preference and not really like a moral claim. But
No, but
so
my in my morals, I deem it correct.
right.
That's the thing to it. In
Okay.
my mindset, my alignment as chaotic good,
Hmm.
I deem a lot of things okay that a lot of people would frown upon.
Hmm.
Like there's no if ands buts about it. Like you can't change my mind.
Right. Okay.
Like there's a lot. Like let me put it like this: without giving out personal
Yeah.
information,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of things I have deemed okay once it was explained to me. Once the reason was explained to me, that I said okay. I could see that action, those words, being justified. Mind you, just because I'm saying I justify it doesn't make it right. I'm just saying I get it, I understand, I am fine with it because you justified that.
Hmm.
But it's up to that person to know that it's wrong. That's not my job.
Okay. But you're still within that framework. You're still ascribing a value of right or wrong to the action or the opinion or the preference.
No, I'm not.
Well, you
Because
just
I'm
said
not.
you
I'm
just
not.
said
I'm not saying that they're right or wrong. That's up to them to decide if what they did was right or wrong. I'm saying I justify it because I understand where they're coming from. I understand why they
got
did
it.
it.
Got it.
That's the difference.
So you're saying that even if you disagree with something, you can allow that person to perform whatever that action is because you
Long as
if
it ain't murder, rape,
well
pedophilia.
sure
So
sure sure
let's get that. Let's get that out the way
yeah
right
yeah
now.
okay so my refutation of that would be that there's still a moral disagreement within the framework that you've presented. So like if somebody has a thought or an action, let's obviously take the things that like most people universally agree with, which I think strengthens my point a little bit too. But let's take the things that people universally disagree with, like murder, rape, pedophilia, abuse of animals, those kind of things, right? Let's take
Mm-hmm.
those things off the table, and let's say that there was like a situation where like I don't know we like I like to use the slavery as an example of this because there is there's still slavery going on in the world, and there's groups of people that believe that owning physically owning people is okay, and obviously we've decided here, like, and in a lot of places in the west, that it's bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but so in that those cases, if somebody was to say to you that they think that slavery is okay and you think that slavery is not okay, then that's a moral disagreement. And moral subjectivism, the first premise of refuting moral subjectivism is that if moral subjectivism was true, there would be no moral disagreement. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So
Mm-hmm.
if somebody says to you, I agree, or I think owning slaves is okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say I think owning slaves is not okay, then there is no misalignment, because in a world where everybody just has their own frameworks, all you can say to that is, I disagree that owning slaves is okay, but I agree that that person thinks that owning slaves is okay, and vice versa. I disagree that owning slaves is not okay, but I agree that this person thinks that it's not okay. And that means that there's no actual moral disagreement about owning slaves, but there is, therefore moral subjectivism can't exist, because there is an ascribed value as to whether or not these things are true or they're false.
So let me make sure I got this right.
Yeah, yeah.
So since you don't deem it as a moral disagreement because you're going based off of what they believe in or what they were brought
Right.
up to believe in.
Right, sort of, right, because if subjectivism were the proper framework, then there would be no reason for you to disagree with somebody's actions of owning a slave, even though you don't want to. But we all know that at least I believe I believe you think that owning people is wrong. I would assume that. And if you do, then you can tell me. But I would strongly disagree with you. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There would be no disagreement in that framework, because really all you're doing is you're saying you're not prescribing a moral claim to it. You're just describing a preference. You can't disagree with a preference.
No, you don't gotta like it though.
Right. But that's what I mean. So that's a moral disagreement.
Let me ask you something. I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Yeah.
Incident took place. I want to say a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to bring up something that I said I wasn't gonna bring up, but this is the best
Yeah.
case scenario that
Okay.
you can understand.
Okay.
Woman was raped.
Okay. That's bad.
Woman killed the man who raped her.
Okay.
Escaped.
That's good.
They escaped everything else.
Yeah.
Woman's facing life. Are you okay with that?
No, absolutely not. I absolutely not.
We don't need to have this discussion then, bro.
No, but
because we gonna agree.
What do you mean?
we don't need to have this discussion. To end stream right now. I got other things I can do. That's all I needed from you.
You're bugging me. Wait, hold up. Wait. So no, because you said okay, so she was raped, and I said that's bad, right?
Yeah.
And then you said we're gonna get taken down to YouTube. I don't know if you're allowed to say rape on YouTube. I'm not sure, but we're gonna say it anyway. So so she was raped. That's bad. She killed the man who raped her. That's good. So I just ascribed two moral claims to that scenario.
Which means we're gonna practically agree on anything else, damn near. Which is why I said we might as well end this damn stream. Because I'm okay with self-defense if it means your life is being threatened.
Right. Of course, we both are. But there are people who are not. Look at what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. Right? He had to face a whole trial.
That's oh boy, Lord.
You know what I mean? But there were people who didn't like the fact that he defended himself from he almost got shot in the head, and he shot the person who shot him instead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And there was a whole disagreement around that. But that's what I mean. There is an objective right or wrong in that scenario, and in the scenario that you just painted, we both agreed that it is correct for the woman. It is incorrect for the woman to get raped. It is correct for her to kill her rapist, and it is incorrect for her to face any jail time for that.
Yeah,
we both agreed. But
in
a realm of
because to me that's self-defense.
Right, exactly. So, but in a realm of moral subjectivism, there would be no disagreement, regardless of the outcomes of any of those things. Oh, she's raped. And I agree that she was raped, basically, is what you would say. Or I agree that she killed the person, is what you would say. Or I agree that she was sentenced. It would just be about the fact of the matter and not about how you felt about it or whatever the preference was.
I know how I felt about it when I heard about it. I was fucking pissed off. I said, exactly. You damn right you should have. Yeah, she should have.
Absolutely. And that's because you have an objectively moral position on the situation. That's why I say moral subjectivism doesn't exist.
But it still does, because you're going to have people that morally disagree with you.
Yeah, but my point is that without subjectivism presumes the lack of disagreement, not the presence of it.
To a point, yeah, because if you can make a case about it, it still makes it objective.
Right.
Subjective.
Exactly.
So it still exists.
No, because that okay, so essentially objectivism is going to be the clashing of two distinct, well, I don't know. I would say two. Some people would say more. I would probably say two distinct world views that clash, that don't agree with each other. Subjectivism presumes that there's not going to be any clash. That means that there is no disagreement at all. So if there is any disagreement, it follows that moral subjectivism doesn't exist. Now, the second, all right. So the second one would be that if moral subjectivism exists, that means that all moral judgments would be infallible also. So if you were to say to me, present me with that scenario, oh, this woman was raped, and then she was sent to jail for killing her rapist, then either moral judgment, whether that be she shouldn't have killed him, or she should have killed him, or she shouldn't have went to jail, or vice versa, would be correct, which is insane.
And correct by whose standards, though? That's right, the thing.
That's exactly my point. You're nailing it. That's exactly my point. Because there is a moral judgment that we would deem to be correct. Therefore, objectivism follows that. Otherwise, there would be no fallible moral judgment. There's no wrong moral judgment on that scenario. But we both know that that's not true.
No, but subjective. Long as you able to plead a case, though, it's going to automatically make it subjective because
No, no, no,
that discussion is going to be out there.
no. Pleading, you would have my argument is that you would have no need to plead a case if it was subjective. She would like they would both just be walking around. The guy would be either dead or just raping more people, and nobody would have anything to say about it, and she would be doing whatever,
That's
and
a
nobody
whole
would have
different
anything to say about it.
scenario, though.
No, no, no. The point is that there would be no fallible moral judgment. There's no wrong moral judgment on whatever happens. But like I said, we both would disagree with that notion that there's a wrong moral judgment on the scenario. Therefore, moral subjectivism is wrong.
It's wrong, but it still exists, though, because
No,
you
so I
alone
don't
are
think
you're literally using the word as a.
no. So
You see what I mean?
we use the word to define. That's why I thought it was very important at the beginning to define terms, because I use the word so that we can understand what we're talking about when we mean moral subjectivism. But
Mm-hmm.
my position is that it doesn't really exist.
It doesn't really exist. Now listen to your own words,
Yeah. No,
which
not
means so
something
means technically,
made up.
somewhat to you, it exists.
No, no, no. So that's see, now we're going at a different philosophy.
No, I'm going by exactly what you're saying, sir. That's all
No,
I'm doing.
I see where you're going, but like in order, you can't have a conversation about something that doesn't have a definition. So what I'm saying is that that we agreed on the definition. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is the incorrect. Let me rephrase it. I think it's the incorrect moral framework. And I think that objectivism is the correct moral framework. Does that make more sense?
So you're okay. So you're technically saying you think going subjective means technically being objective. Let me
I,
clear that up.
yeah. So, well, in some senses, right?
Okay, I mean, if you want to go that route, then yeah. Okay, fine. Then subjective doesn't exist because
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
literally changed the word up and made it
right,
objective because of what you said earlier, which means it creates conflict. But
right.
still, technically, people could still call it subjective and they would
Well,
still be
so
right.
I think it's funny that you say that, because I think that the entire uh, debate that we're having right now actually proves the point of objectivism, because we're having a moral disagreement with even the the existence of both frameworks, right?
Which
We disagree with
still would create a subject, which still would be make it subjective due to that reason.
no, okay, so no, but so that's a difference in the terminology or the etymology of the word, because what we're saying is, again, if we go back to the definition we agreed upon, which was subjectivism says that moral claims are just descriptions of preferences, not
Yeah.
descriptions of moral claims.
Yes.
Right. So if I'm to say that you have a preference for owning slaves, let's go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm to say that you
What is with you and this owning slaves thing? Like, do you have a
because
beef or something?
no, the reason is because it's a very easy moral argument for people to understand, because you can easily say, like, I could easily make the claim that owning slaves is okay, and generally causes a visceral reaction with people, because they know in their heart of hearts that owning other human beings is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really easy way to draw the I mean, the it's a reason easy way
Okay.
to understand
I think
moral
I think I see what's going on here.
you know
Okay.
what I mean?
I think I see what you're doing. So what you trying to say is let me make sure I get this clear. Because if that's the case, then I will agree with you.
Okay.
You would rather it be called objective rather than subjective due to the reasons that we agreed on. Correct?
Well, so when I say I pretty much use the phrase, right, moral subjectivism versus
Mm-hmm.
moral objectivism versus just the words, because if you use the words on their own, they can mean different things, right?
Very much
But
so.
yeah. But to your point,
Which is really why I'm saying I can't really agree with the whole word changing. You see what I
right,
mean?
no, but so I'm not changing it. So like, but based on what you're saying in terms of which is the framework that is correct, and based on the conversation that we just had, yes, I think that morals are objective, regardless of whether or not somebody disagrees. Actually, the disagreement of what is considered to be moral proves the point of objectivism and not the point of subjectivism. It's actually the opposite. Because
Because of the
with
conflict aspect of it,
right,
correct?
exactly. Because without conflict,
Okay,
there
now
is
that makes sense. Yes,
yeah,
but
exactly, exactly.
subjective still exists. Okay, I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
with you. I
exactly.
see what
Okay.
you got going on.
Okay. You
Okay.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
the framework when I say morals aren't subjective, I mean that the framework of moral objectivism is the correct framework
You
versus
feel like it
subjective.
is. Okay, now I'm with you. Okay,
Right.
because I'm like, wait a minute. Because I'm like, subjective in itself is, yeah,
No, yeah, the
okay.
idea of what is subjective, like the
Yeah.
preference is okay. I like so another scenario for you, right? If I was to say to you, I like pizza, but then I was to say to you the next day, I don't like pizza. That is subjectivism. That means that I have not actually given you a clear understanding of what's going on. It's just a description, but it doesn't have a true or false
Narrative.
value to it, right? Because now I just did it again.
Actually, it does because it's how you feel. That gives it
No, no, no,
automatic
no,
value.
no, because I can't both like and dislike pizza. That doesn't make sense.
You can like certain
One of those
aspects and not like certain aspects of it, though.
one of those things, yeah, but that's different. So that would be like me saying I like olives, but I don't like pizza. Right?
Yeah.
That's different. But that claim is true. One of those claims is true, right? Me liking pizza, me not liking pizza. One of those claims has to be true. Both can't be true at once, and both can't be false at
Okay,
once.
so you're sticking to one. Okay, yeah. But in that case,
But
yeah.
but is that not like okay? Give me something that you like, and then something that you don't like. I guess you don't like talking about religion. We know
Yeah.
that. So what do you like? You're like nothing.
Creating content. There you go. It's a lot of things I
Okay, cool.
like.
You're like
Some
I
of
don't
those
like
things I
anything.
can't say out loud, but
But okay, so you like creating content. So would you say that you don't like creating content?
no, because that'd be inconsistent as fuck.
Right, and it would be a false claim, right?
Yeah, one of them would be
Now,
definitely
would you say that you do like talking about religion?
no.
That would be a false claim. So you can't hold both at once. Therefore, objectivism has to follow. There's no subjectivism in terms of morals.
Yeah, because of what you believe in. But somebody
Right.
can make it subjective by interject. Well, yeah. That's the only way I can say it. By interjecting by what they believe in, hence making it subjective.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so there
Now,
would
based off
be
of me myself, what I like and dislike, no, that's not subjective
right, right.
because I know what I believe in.
Well, there has to be a true and a false, ascribing to
They,
something.
there does have to be a true and a false. Yes,
Right.
very much so.
Right. Right. And subjectivism says that there is none. So therefore it can't be right.
When it applies to myself,
Would apply
yes.
to anything though. Because it because
How can it
okay,
apply to anything if somebody can come and
let's
to start a debate about it? That makes
no,
it,
but because again, the debate is what proves subjectivism. It's not what disproves it.
which leads to subjective,
No.
which leads to subjective existing, not
No, no,
existing.
it
But
leads to
but you're saying, but you would rather the framework of it
yeah,
and the conflict aspect of it
yeah.
to be considered as objective rather than subjective. Let
Right.
me make sure. That's fine. That's cool.
Right. Right.
I'm all for that. But you got to keep in mind if you sit there and say you don't like pizza,
Hmm.
and I come to you and say, well, you actually do like pizza,
Yeah.
that automatically makes it subjective
Well,
because
no,
I'm
that
trying
makes you
to
wrong.
tell
No, that
you
makes
that.
you wrong.
Well, it makes me wrong, but it still opens that door, which is subjective.
No, no, no.
Because
Because
of what I think compared to what you think, even though what you think technically is true, no matter what narrative I put
no,
on there, I
it's not
mean, it's
technically
still
true.
subjective at the end of the day.
No, it's not technically true. It is true because look, if I say to you that -1 plus
Mm-hmm.
1 is 1, I'm wrong, right? -1 plus 1 is 0. It's
Yeah.
always going to be 0. So if you say to me, I like pizza, and I say to you, you don't like pizza, I'm still wrong. Even if I have the opinion that you like pizza, I would still be wrong
Yeah,
because
you'd be
you have
wrong no matter
already
what, but
right.
you're allowed to believe whatever the hell you want. I mean, like to say
Sure.
that like subjective and what you think don't exist is pretty
Yes.
much just like saying we might
No,
as
no.
well not even have debates because
No,
you
well,
see what I
but
mean?
that's no, but you're hitting on it. That's exactly my point. With in the moral subjective framework, there is no reason for debate. There's no reason for it.
So you don't think it should be it? Okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't feel like so you feel like anything that leads to conflict or said debate is automatically makes it objective, not subjective.
Right, because there's a yes and a no, or right and a wrong, or true and a false, whatever you want to
So
call it.
you want to okay? So if we agree to disagree, that would be subjective to you.
Well, okay, that's an interesting question because I actually don't
I'm going
believe.
based off of what you're saying right now.
No, but I know, no, that's an interesting question. I don't believe in the concept of agreeing to disagree. I think that that's just what people do to stop conversations that they don't want to have anymore. I don't think that's actually a thing. Like, either you disagree or you agree. I mean, it's like you can't agree to disagree. That's weird. That doesn't really make sense to me. Like you're just
Okay, that's a
you're
whole
just a
other
double standard.
subject.
Well,
Wow.
yeah,
I mean,
it's a
it's like I get what
philosophical,
you're
like yeah,
saying. I get what you're
yeah,
saying, but that's like a totally whole nother
yeah, yeah,
subject.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and you are right. Let me say that a lot of people, I do actually feel like a lot of people just say that just to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just get out of the discussion, just
Right.
be done with it. I get that part.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But like, you can okay, like how if you say you like pizza, I say you don't like pizza.
Yeah.
We disagree with each other. The only thing we can agree with is that we both disagree with each other. Therefore, making you technically both still agree on one thing. Not the subject itself, but you're agreeing that
No,
you
but
both
that's
disagree on
but
said
yeah,
subject.
yeah. So that
Which means
goes back
technically it
to
does exist. But
yeah,
I do agree with
yeah,
you that a lot of people misuse it as a way
yeah,
just
yeah.
to get out of
Right.
discussion.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll give you that one.
That point that you just made, that goes back to what I said about like when we were talking about slavery earlier. Okay, I think it's okay to own slaves. You think it's okay not okay to own slaves, but you agree that I think that it's okay to own slaves. That's basically what you're doing. You're not really like
Yeah.
there's no real moral argument there. Where it's like you said earlier, like okay, well you might as well not even have debates. Like exactly, that's exactly right. Which doesn't which we do and we are right. And so there you go. Like that's why I think the moral subjectivism is the wrong framework.
No, I'm actually getting why you separate the two words, which I get that.
Yeah, yeah,
But like end of the day, it exists. I mean,
sure.
I mean, like I get you 100% on the how you saying objective and subjective, but to say that it just totally does not exist is
No,
just wrong.
I think that it does, but I don't think that it's a framework, and it
You
doesn't
don't think the
it
meaning
doesn't
of it should be applied to
philosophically.
subjective; it should be applied to objective.
Well, it does in a philosophical sense, and what I mean by that is like you can understand what is meant and define it, but is that actually how people operate? No, it's not. Like we can
I
define
mean
what moral
that's a whole
subjectivism
bro. That's a whole nother damn
there,
subject. But we
no,
get
it
out of
is.
morality and we get know how people act. That's a
Right,
whole another can of worms.
but so that's sort of what we're discussing here, right? Is it's like how do people actually operate in reality?
I can't.
It
You
does.
asking a question that me and you can't even answer.
No, but we did. We went over it a bunch of times because it's like there is going to be the moral disagreement with certain
Yeah, it
things.
is. Yes, that's
Right.
true.
And so we know that in practice that's actually how it operates. Now we can define what moral subjectivism is. We can define what it means in the scenarios and all that kind of things. But when it comes down to how people actually act, they act in a more objectionist framework.
I mean,
Whether or not they disagree on things, like I said, actually proves the existence of objectivism.
yes, and no. And I only say that off the pure fact we both know
Mhm.
a lot of people don't act on their morals,
That's also true. That's true. But
which really
they still hold them. Now you're right that actions definitely mean a lot as well. But I think that you're right again when it says like that's a little bit that's more of like behavioral science, which is a different subject.
Yeah,
But
and that's one I yeah
yeah,
no.
yeah, but they still hold to keep it at the surface where we're at. They still hold the moral. Whether or not they
Depend
act on it is irrelevant in terms of
depends
moral
on the
choices.
person.
Right. Right.
Totally.
Sure. Yeah. 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 All right. I want to look at some of the chats because we got a lot of chat really quick. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. If you're checking out, dude, hit the freaking like button and do all that.
Yeah,
If
cause
you're
I
hanging out,
can't see his check because I got him on full screen on the 50-inch. That's
we're
why
having a
I'm
good.
looking the way I'm looking.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. We're having a good discussion, so I appreciate you guys hanging out. So let's see. Dozing says he left a comment on the Nazi. But yeah, I got to do a follow up because it got taken down, so I got to do a follow up video on that. That's crazy. Let's see. Are some things, Nealon says, are some things that regardless of what a person or multiple people think, are there some things that regardless of what a person or multiple people think that are always objectively good or always objectively evil?
That is
I guess it's a question for
what?
you.
Whoa! Ask that again.
So basically the summation of the question is, are there things that people will say are always objectively good or evil? So another example would be like the rape and the murder scenario that you gave. Would you say that there are things, and I think you would, but we'll let you
Could
answer this. Is it always good or evil?
verify what you about to ask with him because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know where you're about to go. So verify if that's what he means.
yeah. Yeah. So Nayland, if you could just rephrase what you just said, but I think what you're trying to say is, are there things that no matter what are always going to be considered good or evil? Is the summation of the question. And then if you say that later on, we can address it. And then he says, surely everyone that is human. Oh, I think he clarifies. So he says, surely everyone that is human on the planet has one or more things that they can agree on is good or bad. It comes from instinct. I think if that's true, Nayland, I'm reading a book by I have to pick it back up, but C.S. Lewis, you probably know about it. It's Mere Christianity, and he talks about that in the beginning of the book, actually. So
So the
I
question
think,
is there just some things that some people just deem flat out good no matter what, some flat
right,
out evil? Yes. Hell yeah.
right,
Hell
right
yeah.
there, yeah,
Definitely.
okay.
Definitely.
So let's see. He says I could be in a room with a Zoroastrian, an atheist, a Judaist, a Christian, a Muslim, a Taoist, etc., and they would all agree that killing a mouse is objectively evil. Correct. The problem with saying every person is different is that it is actually very unlikely. Every person will agree on one or more things. Everyone won't disagree with everyone on everything. Yeah. Greg A. Johnson says, "Don't like slavery, just don't own slaves."
That's
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, if you don't like slavery, don't own slaves, I guess. Hey, it's fair. He says, I came to the same problem when I protest against circumcision. Oh, let's talk a little bit more about that, Greg. And he says, circumcision is a personal choice, just not the choice of the person being mutilated. Hey man, I don't like circumcision either. I agree. I agree with that. How do you feel about circumcision, Riddler?
I really actually have no legit opinion about that. Like
Okay.
that's one of
Okay.
them cases where it's like if you do, you do, you don't, you don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And then he says, Nayland says, moral subjectivism or relativism is all about indifference. There are quite a few glaring issues with being indifferent to many scenarios. Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Disparity came in and says, "Well, what's up, Disparity? What's going on?" And then they're talking. Okay. And then Nayland says, "Mr. B owns slaves confirmed," because I kept talking about slaves. Yeah, I got several, man. Here in the slave owning state of Washington.
Ah! Is that really a slave holding state?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think it was because it was way later. Um,
Hmm.
Washington was like, wait, when did?
You talking about the state,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
That's
was
just
Washington
a
State.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. A state. I think it was like the 1800s, right? 1889. Yeah, yeah. So it was after the slaves were emancipated and all that. So never a slave
Hmm.
owning state up here. Even though I guess like Oregon, which is right below us, was like a state where only white people could own property, apparently, for a long time. Did you know this?
Actually, I did
It
not
was
know
like
that.
created as like a free state for white people, according to some historians. That could be completely fucking wrong because we've been lied about for forever. But that's what I remember learning is that Oregon was created as a state for white people. So
That's
they can get
something
away from
you
all the
might
stigmas.
need to just look up and confirm because
Yeah,
that sounds kind of over the top, even by my
yeah,
standards.
that's what I thought too. So OPB about here we go. Yeah, as soon as you Google it, here let's share the screen here. I gotta press share. So okay, so look, a racist history shows why Oregon is still so white. So Americans across the country have demonstrated for over a week against systemic racism. Blah blah blah. This is from 2020. Yeah, so this is from 2020, but I remember learning about this in like 2018 or something like that.
Mm.
Let's see. Oregon began as a whites-only state through a series of black exclusionary laws that were designed to discourage black Americans from living there in the first place. These laws point to the fact that Oregon was founded as a racist white utopia. Black studies educator and writer says in Oregon, this idea was that white folks would come here and build the perfect white society. Yeah, yeah.
You know what
So
you really need to do if you really
what?
want
What?
to know about that? Find somebody who actually lives in that state and ask them.
She does. She lives in Oregon. This woman, Walida Imarisha.
Oh,
That's she's an educator there. So here's the thing. I and I actually, if that's true, why not there just be a blacks only state then too? Like,
Lord, here we go.
you know what I'm saying?
Lord,
Let the white people have their white state, and let the black people have their black state or whatever. Let's we can call it segregation. I just
that
came up with
that that makes it sound so much more
that.
better.
I just came up with this. We can call it segregated states.
I ain't
And
even
then
gonna
we're
lie.
like,
I don't even think my head could take that.
oh man.
Not even being
Oh
funny,
man. Yes.
Lord.
So yeah, I think Oregon, yeah, Oregon was created. So okay, like it says they passed a black exclusionary law in 1849. Okay, so in 1844, when Oregon was a territory, it passed its first black exclusionary law. It banned slavery, but it also prohibited black people from living in the territory for more than 3 years. If a black person broke this law, the sentence was 39 lashes every 6 months until they left. So they would basically go to your house. And this is, again, I don't know how true this is, but this is what it's saying on opp.org. It could be complete bullshit. But it sounds like they would go to your house every 6 months and lash you 39 times. 39, I don't know what the significance of that number is, other than yeah, I don't know actually.
Mm-mm.
I could guess, but you don't want to talk about religion, so we're not gonna go there. But um 39 lashes every 6 months until they left. So they go to your house, lash you 39 times, and then leave. And then if you're still there 6 months later, they lash you again. What the fuck?
I mean,
Insane.
I can't really speak on back. Like it's like on one hand, it's like why would you even tolerate staying there then for that?
Yeah, right,
But
right.
I,
Well,
but not.
that's what I'm saying.
But that's involving hopping on the time machine and actually going back in the day.
Yeah,
And
right.
yeah, I ain't.
It's
Yeah.
fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. All right, man. Well, hey, I think we had a really good conversation. I
Oh
appreciate
hell
you
yeah,
and all that
hell
kind
yeah!
of stuff,
We
man.
got to do it
Yeah,
again, man.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
real talk. We got to do it
Absolutely,
again.
absolutely.
Hey,
We've been on this time.
see if they y'all got any questions? I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't care
Chat.
what it is.
If does the chat have
I
any
got time. I
questions
got time off my hands right
before
now.
I tell them to tell you where you can find them and all that kind of stuff? If you have any more questions for Riddler or myself, put them in the chat. Also, just so you know, guys, again, Stupid Gaming News is happening tomorrow. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's not
The
gonna be
fact
on
that you
Twitch.
call it that, man.
Dude, because it's stupid, and you know it's true. Oh no, it's not tomorrow. Sorry, today's Tuesday. I'm thinking it's Wednesday. It's Thursday. So Stupid Gaming News Thursdays. It's now on this channel. 3 p.m. PST. We're gonna go over all the stupid gaming news that happened in the week, and then I promise you, the Antioche podcast is coming back. I'm doing a new episode with Silos this week, so we're gonna put that up. I know that it's been a while, but he's been really busy. I've been really busy, so all that is going on. Also, I don't think these guys have any questions. So how about you go ahead, let them know where they can find you, what your next thing you're doing, all that kind of stuff, and then we can wrap it up.
Well, as of today, I actually just finished another voice project, but all the
Nice.
same.
Congrats.
Thank you. With that in mind, you can always find me on Twitch under Dark Riddler. Find me on YouTube under Dark Riddler. Hunt down my Twitter. Just put in Dark Riddler. But like I said earlier, when this discussion first happened, I lost my train of thought just that damn fast.
Twitter.
I'm a
on
story based and adult based streamer. Yeah, I am on Twitter. I am on Twitter.
Oh, no,
I'm on Twitter. I'm just not tweeting.
I'm
I'm not as active on Twitter
anymore.
Well, but I am. I'm around.
Word.
Enough.
That's enough. Yeah. Everybody who's in here, hit that like, hit that subscribe, go follow Doc Riddler. He's a cool dude. You should support him. And if you're in the Discord, which I think a lot of you guys who are in here are, every time he goes live, it shows up in the streaming room, and then when he posts a video, it shows up in there too. So check his stuff out and support him because he's dope. I really appreciate you having this conversation, man.
Dude, anytime, boss. Anytime.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you jump off.
All right, man. Y'all stay out of bad trouble.
All right, peace. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. We got to hang out with Dark Riddler and talk about moral subjectivism.